We're going to talk about everything Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. We're going to talk about the Battle Pass, the gameplay, and more right here in the A Gaming Podcast, the podcast where you can get your A grade gaming news. Let's talk about it right here. So of course, Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2 is now underway, and I have played the game and I have an opinion, but I also would like to hear your opinion down in the comment section, so make sure that you jump into the comment section and join in. Now without further ado, let's talk about Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. So Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2 is the second season in Chapter 4. Chapter 4 has been brilliant so far, but there's a lot to unpack here because there's been some changes to the game. One thing that we have noticed is that we no longer have had a live event introducing the season. So we had a cinematic and we had a gameplay trailer, but we didn't have any live event. This could be because Epic Games are actually quite busy trying to develop other things that are currently in production. For example, there is more coming to the Epic Games Store and more games that are being on the Epic Games Store, and they also have a lot of other things that are apparently affecting Epic Games that we will talk about, including some things to do with what happened with pricing, but we will cover that later on in the podcast. That's not something to really dive into right now. It's definitely some big news that's been happening behind the scenes. So what have we been excited for and waiting for in terms of the new seasons of Fortnite? So of course, one of the main things that we pay attention to are those map changes, and it's definitely a point of interest which has been focused on as one of the main changes with a new Fortnite season. Now Fortnite have obviously noticed this, and there is more attention that has been paid to the map changes. Now, of course, there may be some of you that have not played Fortnite until this day, right? So we're definitely going to give you some more context as to what Fortnite is. So Fortnite is a game that you can play online. It has a massive multiplayer online arena, and there are different game modes that you can play in Fortnite. For example, there is Battle Royale mode. And what Battle Royale mode is it's basically where you're up against 99 other players, usually if you're playing solo Battle Royale, and you have all of the mechanics that Fortnite has on offer at the moment when you're playing against other players, which is the building as well as the loot pool. And what I mean by the loot pool is the items that you can pick up while you're inside of the match. And of course, this includes the weapons. So the weapons change from season to season, and of course, you have your building mechanic, which stays the same in this game mode. And what your objective is when you're playing Battle Royale mode is to be the last one standing. Now if you're playing solo, you're going to be on your own in this matchup, but of course if you're playing duos, this is going to be a team of 2, trios is going to be a team of 3, and of course squads, which is going to be at the moment a team of 4. And it's your job as your player when you're playing to survive and be the last one standing. Now there are other things that come into play here, for example the storm, which is a ring that sort of shrinks, and it basically makes the battlefield smaller. It makes the island smaller, and that is where you're going to stay alive. You can go into the storm, but you take damage as a result. So of course, with taking damage, your health declines, and when your health declines and becomes 0, you then of course are eliminated. And that is basically what Battle Royale is. Now of course, solo mode is a lot more difficult because you're up against more players on your own, but when you're playing in a team, you might have a higher chance of winning because you could be on a good team. The matchmaking, this of course is cross-play. So cross-play is a default thing in Fortnite, so it doesn't matter what platform you're playing on. If you're playing on PlayStation or if you're playing on Xbox, you can play together. You can find friends in the game, in the lobby, before you jump into a match. But there is also, as well as Battle Royale mode, there is the zero build mode, which I've played a lot less recently. Zero build mode is basically taking away the building mechanic of that game mode. So it's the same Battle Royale, but you don't have the ability to build walls, build forts, and build other structures in order to maneuver or protect yourself on the island. So if somebody's shooting at you, you will have to use other things in order to protect yourself or fight back when somebody's trying to shoot you with the current loot pool that's available in the game. Of course, you can build up your shield, and you can build up your shield by drinking shield potions. Now that really goes over what basically the Battle Royale mode is, and we also have creative. So what creative is players have the chance to create their own islands or masterpieces in the game, and other people are actually able to jump into that island and join in with the game that you have created. So you have an option to create your own game modes in creative, but creative can be used for other things as well. For example, if you're just browsing a place that has been created by somebody artistically, this is something that you can do in creative. And there are other things that you can do as well. Creative is expanding, and there is a lot that you can do there. What some players tend to do is they create role-playing situations, or even something that plays homage to another game. For example, I'm going to quickly just hover into the creative mode now to give you an idea, because there is a menu. If you are on the main menu in Fortnite at the moment, you have a few things that you can go through. For example, there's the Discover tab, the Browse tab, My Library, and there is Create and Island Code. So if you're looking for a specific island that you want to play on that has been created by somebody within the community, you can enter the code of that island when the island has been published. So for example, in the browse right now, the creative islands that you can really go through are, of course, you have your popular section. These are going to be the popular maps. Then you have the trending section. These is going to be what's literally trending within the game of Fortnite and can be trending on social media as well. You have most favorited. So of course, the community is favoriting islands and things that have been created in the game. You have Epic's picks. Now, of course, this is Epic Games and what they have chosen as their top most interesting things in Fortnite at the moment. So if there's an island that they're interested in, it will be within Epic's picks, and that would be Epic's top picks at the moment. You have Simulator, where you can go through a simulated situation, and I haven't played too much of that, so I can't give you too much context on that one. New Variety, where there's going to be a different variety to a game mode, and you have New Practice. So of course, if you're playing Battle Royale mode, or you want to get better at building or anything like that, you can go into New Practice, and these are going to be the new practice maps that people are using to maybe learn how to crank 90s, if you've heard that term before, or learn how to build, or learn how to shoot and get better and improve your game and improve how you play the game. You also have new combat as well. There are different things that are also in the game, for example, parkour, or just genuinely knowing how to maneuver yourself around. Then there are also other categories, for example, adventure, box fights, casual, combat, death run, driving, fashion, because there are fashion things as well when you're actually purchasing your skins, FFA, gun game, horror, minigame, mystery, practiced, prop hunt, roleplay, survival, team deathmatch, and zone wars. So as you can tell, there's a lot more variety within the game. So if you're struggling with a specific game mode, you can really mix it up and you can start playing different types of games within Fortnite. Death runs are one that I do recommend, and the reason why death runs are great is because it really does give you you can find some really casual death runs and have fun with it that anybody can play. It really does remind you of the sort of death runs that you have in mobile gaming. For example, if you ever played something like Temple Run is a game where it's literally a death run. You're trying to survive and you're running through the obstacles and you're trying to get to the end or survive as long as you can, because some of these death runs have like 100 levels to it, but anybody can pick up a controller or a keyboard and start playing a death run. You're trying to avoid the obstacles, and no matter what platform you're on, that's going to be one of the most welcoming and open, in my opinion, categories in this section here. Of course, you also have the casual, where you can do so much more, and there's a lot more right there. So that is something that's added to most Fortnite seasons at the moment. Those are the categories and where Fortnite is expanding, and gives you an idea of what's available other than just Battle Royale gameplay. So there's a lot more right there, and there's a lot more that you can explore. Now, I think it's definitely time to go over that Battle Pass right now, because there's a Battle Pass that has been a focal point in the community. It's definitely something that's really, really huge. There is also a Save the World mode as well. I will be playing Save the World, and I will be uploading some Save the World to my YouTube channel, so it's definitely well worth checking that out. But it's definitely time to go over the Battle Pass. So the Battle Pass at the moment, I think, is quite mid, and there's a reason why I think it's quite mid at the moment. Now, there are two sides to the Fortnite community if you're involved in Fortnite at the moment. You have your I'd say three, because you also have your esports players as well and the fans of esports. So you have the esports side of Fortnite, which is very competitive. It's a clearly competitive space, because most of the esports events focus on not really speed building or trying to build a creation or anything like that. It really focuses on Battle Royale mainly out of everything. I think that Fortnite can really mix up esports by introducing different things, different elements to esports. It could be a sport to try and build a type of creative map and then be the winner of that competition. That really does feed into how Fortnite came into creation in the first place anyway, because that's how Fortnite actually came to be, because it was a part of I think the developers were trying to challenge themselves, or they were a part of a competition, and they had to try and make a game in a short space of time and very quickly and make the best game that they could, and that's how Fortnite came to be. So there's something that could really be sort of pushed into the esports genre there. I feel like it could be a thing. Maybe it could be a thing. Maybe that's something that you guys want to see as well. See who you can create the best creative map, and then you have specifics that you have to do in that creative map, and then the best one wins. That would be absolutely brilliant. It's sort of like speed painting, if you will. Imagine your speed paint. It could be from an artistic perspective as well. So into the Battle Pass right now, I'm just going to quickly open up the rewards. Now, we have quite a variety in the Battle Pass, and the Battle Pass has always been really sort of rewarding for players when you play Fortnite, and it's definitely one of the top standards in terms of Battle Passes. So even if you aren't a fan of Fortnite at the moment, you can't knock the Battle Pass for how you progress and how you are rewarded with the Battle Pass. They've really done a good job at fine-tuning how the Battle Pass rewards players and different things that you can do in order to sort of save some time if you are struggling with the Battle Pass at any point. Now, I've mentioned this with other games in terms of their Battle Passes and how they could improve, and Fortnite is a really good sort of benchmark to really set your game against if you're a developer, to be like, okay, how should our Battle Pass look? What should our Battle Pass involve? How should our Battle Pass, entice gamers to want to play the game and feel rewarded for actually playing the game? So, of course, you have a variety of items, and none of these items are in the item shop, but there is something that I want to pick out later on as well, because I've already been to the end of the Battle Pass, of course, when the season first launched. So you have loading screens. Now, as you know, in Battle Royale games, there is a lobby, and players need to be in that lobby in order for you to begin the game. That is the reason why you will still have loading screens in Fortnite, but it's also a sort of traditional thing right now at the moment. It's sort of like everybody looks forward to seeing your loading screen before you jump in. What's your loading screen that you've got right now? It sort of just gives an extra flavor to the game. So even if they could remove that, it really wouldn't be a bright idea at the moment, because it's been part of the tradition of Fortnite and playing Fortnite. When you're jumping into a game mode or anything like that, giving you that flood screen with the piece of art that you have chosen, it just gives you an extra thing that you can do. So, Epic take pride in this. Fortnite gamers also take pride in this as well. So you have loading screens that are worthwhile, and there's quite a variety of them. There is a large variety of loading screens, actually. Some of them are Battle Pass specific, so you won't be able to get those items or cosmetics or loading screens if you haven't got that Battle Pass for that season. This also gives you an incentive to try to complete the Battle Pass so you can get those items. Now, it's brilliant. What's brilliant about it is we have a new star system, and what the star system is when you're completing quests, when you're playing the game, you are collecting stars, and you can use these stars to purchase items on your Battle Pass. Now, there are other games that have started to do something similar. For example, Call of Duty right now at this point in time has a sort of, it's a little bit convoluted in the way it looks in Call of Duty, but Call of Duty currently have like a token system instead of a star system, and what that basically is you can collect tokens from completing quests or just leveling up in Call of Duty, and then you can use those tokens to purchase weapon skins and so forth. So imagine that, but done well, and that's what Fortnite is in terms of their Battle Pass progression system. So the Battle Pass progression system, can't knock it too much. There are some items that are locked off until you've unlocked all of the items on that page. That entices you to use your stars on that specific page if you want, for example, the skin that's at the end that is locked if you haven't unlocked all the items on that page. So you can claim pages, and you can purchase some more stars or more pages in your Battle Pass using the Fortnite currency in order to get yourself some more items, skins, and more in the Battle Pass if you are not playing the game too frequently enough to complete it before the end of the season. So there are ways that you can purchase more. Now let's go through. You also get V-Bucks as well. So when you're going through the Battle Pass, you're also getting V-Bucks, and V-Bucks are the currency of Fortnite, of what I've just mentioned. Now these V-Bucks can be used in the game elsewhere. So if you're looking through the item store, the item shop, the Fortnite item shop, and you see a skin that you like, and you've bought the Battle Pass, and you've managed to get those V-Bucks, you can use those V-Bucks in the item shop. or around in Fortnite now. I'm going to say mainly the item shop. So yes, you also have sprays. Now, I don't see a lot of players using sprays when they're in a Battle Royale mode, because when you're up against so many different players that are trying to take you out when you're trying to survive and be the last one standing, you don't really want to be standing still and spraying too often, because you might catch yourself in a situation where you're getting picked off quite easily because you're leaving yourself open because you've decided to spray up a wall. But you can, if you wanted to, it's an option. It tends to be used normally a lot of the time. The most usage I've seen of sprays in Fortnite are during live concerts or during something to do with creative. And what would normally happen is there might be an after party. For example, in the Kid Laroi concert that has not long just gone, there will be like an after party arena, and what players tend to do is they tend to spray up a specific wall, and there will actually be a designated area to spray up that wall with the different sprays or designs that you have in the game. So that's normally where I see a lot of that being used, and where sprays are normally being used quite often. Other times can be in the lobby if somebody wants to show off a new spray that they've got, and you're running around the lobby arena before you've jumped into a match of Battle Royale or whatever you're going into. Sometimes you might see some sprays around there. I used one recently using the Infinity Gauntlet, because I have the Infinity Gauntlet spray, and I was using the Black Panther skin. So just to give you an idea of how you can really match and mix and match themes there, just to give your gameplay just a different feel to it, and just playing around. I also done it with a Dragon Ball skin. I think I was using maybe Vegeta, and it was in a Battle Royale win, I think it was, and I decided to spray a fusion spray against the wall, so you could see Goku and Vegeta using fusion with the graffiti art. So yes, and you also have back blings as well. So back blings and gliders and contrails. So back blings are those things that you can see on the back of a skin occasionally if someone decides to equip one on their skin when they're playing the game. That's what a back bling is. And you also have your gliders, which of course you're using to glide if you're in the air and you're able to deploy a glider. For example, in a Battle Royale game, when you're jumping out of the battle bus, you will be able to deploy your glider, sort of like, imagine it like a parachute, and basically that's what you're using to get down to the ground without taking damage. So it's there by default in a Battle Royale mode. That's why I've used that as an example. But there are other opportunities when you're playing Fortnite where you are able to use your glider. So yes, let's go to the second page of the battle pass now, so I can give you some more context as to what you also have. You also have these things called banner icons. Now, if you've noticed in the lobby of Fortnite before somebody joins a matchup, you will see a icon next to the player's skin. Now, what this icon is it's something that the player has selected as their banner icon. It's their banner, it's their flag, and there is also an emote where you can actually plant your flag. Now, this emote was, I don't think it was a battle pass. It was an item shop item, and that item shop item allows you to plant a flag. And when you plant a flag, you have to win, by the way, so you can't actually use this emote unless you win. But when you plant that flag after a victory royale, which I've done quite a few times for you so you can see it, you will have your banner icon on that flag. So that's one way that Fortnite has given you the opportunity to show off your banner icon. It can be a specific thing to do with a situation that you've gone through, or it could be something that you've unlocked from the battle pass. For example, right now there's a vinyl record banner icon which is in the battle pass on page which page are we on right now? So I'd say it was page, I was on page 3. So on page 3 of the battle pass of the Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2 battle pass, you have a viral record banner icon there. You also have some more V-Bucks, so I could actually use them right now. And there is another skin. Now, this skin here called Imani is quite an anime-based skin. You can tell by the art style in which has been used for it. Now, it does have some movement. It isn't reactive, but it does have some movement. And what I mean by this is literally on the skin, you have these textures that are moving on that skin there. So as opposed to being a very static skin or not having anything that it stands out about the skin, there is literally a colourful changing movement on that skin there, and it does stay consistent. So Fortnite have to really think about, well, they don't have to really think about it because they're really good at it. Fortnite have thought about how this can be affecting the gameplay when you're playing through the game, and it's really done well. You don't have any issues in terms of it its texture loading or anything going on in the battle in the game so far. So I haven't seen any issues with this skin Imani at the moment, and I haven't really seen any, because back in the day you used to have, like, if a certain skin was being used, sometimes there might be a bug with the skin and something would happen, like, for example, I was using Blackbeard at one point in one season and then I couldn't use it the next season because it was having issues. Those things haven't happened in Fortnite for a fairly long time. Fortnite have really been perfecting in terms of the skin design or dealing with bugs that can be caused by different textures. That really doesn't happen very often at all anymore in terms of that. So I just like to point that out as well in terms of Fortnite and Epic Games and their efforts in terms of creating with their game engine. Really good work there. Moving on to the next page, you also have emotes. So of course you have emotes that are in the battle pass. This one I'm not a huge fan of, but there is one that was similar that I wasn't able to purchase that I now wouldn't purchase because I've got this one here instead. So just to give you an example of what I mean, there is an emote in the battle pass right now that's called, and it's a really complicated looking word, it's expressionism. And basically what happens with expressionism is there are two paintbrush looking things and it has a trail behind it, so your character will be waving in a sort of fluent dancing movement, and there is a colourful trail that follows these paintbrushes, two paintbrushes in either hand of your skin, and it creates like a trail effect, a glowing trail effect that follows behind with these paintbrushes. Now there was a fire, I think it was like a fire breathing, like sort of circus act sort of version of this emote as well, and it, of course, that was fire, so it acts differently. That is the one that I would say is similar to this expressionism emote here. Now, what's great about this expressionism emote is it does have a variety of different colours. Now, an emote is brilliant for expressing how you feel in the gameplay or trying to relay some emotion, or if you're just genuinely having a sort of, like, there's so many different uses of an emote. You can use it for different gameplay features. So, for example, there might be a game mode that you're playing where you need to emote to get past or open a door, and you need to use a specific emote. We had this recently in the Fortnite the Fortnite Chapter 4 live event. Now that Fortnite Chapter 4 live event, if you watch my gameplay, you will see me using an emote to unlock a new, what was it called again? It's been a while. A reality seed. So the reality seeds that we were collecting during that live event, there was one that I used an emote in order to unlock that reality seed. Now that can be done in game modes as well. So if you've created a game mode and you might have something that takes effect when a player uses an emote in a specific area of your map. And that is why the live events are absolutely brilliant as well when you're able to interact with them, because you will find different things that have been added to the game, different features that have been added to the game just by playing that live event. You will also get those new graphics and those graphic updates that have been updated in the game, because Epic Games like to show you the capabilities of their game engine. So moving on from here, you also have soundtracks. So your soundtracks are for your lobby. So when you're in the lobby, you will have soundtracks that you can play before you start the game, and this will also play when you have completed a victory royale. Or when you've completed a victory royale, you will hear your song begin to play. As you can tell, you can watch through my over 400 victories that I have on the channel, on my YouTube channel, and you can see this in action. When you get to the end of that gameplay, you will hear the music that I have selected in the lobby being played at the end of that gameplay, and it really adds to the victory. And that is a really good addition to Fortnite Battle Royale as well, having that as sort of like your victory soundtrack. And you have that moment as well where you've impacted the last shot, or the player has just taken the damage and is now KO'd, like the last player or players. That slow-mo moment has changed slightly, subtly over each season. So I do pay attention to that as well. There was one time at one point where you couldn't emote. Occasionally I like to emote at the end of that victory because it's sort of like my victory dance that I'm adding to a victory royale. So of course there were those things as well. Now moving on from the battle pass, which page are we on now? So we've gone through quite a few pages here. You can claim these pages, but as you can tell, there were some more skins as well. There's a different Futurefy Imani. So Futurefy Imani is sort of like a blue version of her. She's still in that anime sort of texture style, because there's different textures of skins in Fortnite as well. And as well as that skin, you also have a soundtrack called Future Dreams. So that is a soundtrack that's there. There's also some V-Bucks, and as well as the V-Bucks, you also have a loading screen of Imani, where you can see her trainers up close. Didn't actually notice she had those trainers on, so if you zoom out a little bit, you'll be able to see her sneaks. You can't zoom out of her until you preview her, so you can preview your items. One thing that's also great as well is during the preview of each page, you have different background styles, right? Just to give you an idea of how much care is being put into the battle pass. You're going through the battle pass, and there's all these different variations and colors that are being played on the screen as you're going through it. You will also have people in the community that have created things. For example, there was something called Thunder, and the slogan of Thunder is "Roll with Thunder." The art is by Liam Brazier. I don't know if I pronounced his second name correctly, but the artist is Liam Brazier, and he created Thunder, and it's been added to the Battle Pass. So sometimes there are creators of the community who will create things, and Fortnite will involve that in the Battle Pass as well, which makes it a huge plus, because I do know there are other the competition to Fortnite, or I say was the competition to Fortnite, other battle royale games of its genre that have done things like that briefly and didn't go back to it. For example, Apex Legends had a moment where they allowed parts of the community to create weapon skins, and it went down really well. One of them was the R301, and it was called the Bling, I think it was. It might have been called the Bling. I know that I do have that weapon skin from when I did play Apex Legends at that point, because I wanted that because it looked cool, and I know that someone from the community also created it, so I wanted to support them and their creation as well. It was a one-time event, but Fortnite have this during most of the game, and sometimes you will have something that's in the item shop. It will very rarely be a loading screen, but it's not something that's like not common to happen. It's not something that's like it's a complete rarity. It actually is part of the game, but the community is part of the game. So we'll get onto more as well, because we've got to talk about the map, and we also have to talk about the different gameplay elements and the new changes as well. So while we're going through the battle pass, there was also one glider that I think is really dope called Stormcloud. Now Stormcloud is a sort of futuristic bike. Now I do have a few bikes that I've used as a glider in Fortnite. What I tend to think misses out, like is missing from the gliders when they're being previewed in the battle pass, is sometimes you can't see. I mean, it's a part of a battle pass, so it isn't really too much of an issue, but it might be an issue for some. But you can't see how your player is using the glider. So if I'm deploying this glider now, I can't preview if my player is going to be on top of the bike, sitting on the bike, standing on the bike, or holding onto the handles, floating below the bike. I can't tell. You can just see the glider. So it's sometimes like, is it like meant to be like a big reveal that when you get that glider, you're like, oh yeah, you stand on top of it, didn't know. Like, but it might be a good idea to sort of give that preview as well with the skin that's on the page, because then what might happen is you might have players that have more of an incentive to go and get that glider because they see how it's being used, as opposed to it just floating and you can sort of deploy it over and over. Now, there are different sound effects that come with gliders and sometimes contrails as well. A contrail basically is when you're floating or pushing down through the sky. For example, if you've just jumped out of the battle bus, you will have these contrails, these colours or pattern that you will have from your either hands, feet, arms, or wherever that you have selected. Now, this can be in front of you, it can be at the back of your skin, it could be coming, as I said, deploying from your legs, arms, feet, or hands. And these are contrails. There are different colours, different themes, and some of them come with the theme of the season. So, of course, with this season, it's Mega, and it's all about Mega City and those new tech changes in the game. It looks really cool, and there's a lot of new changes to the gameplay that I think add a new element to Battle Royale if you're a Battle Royale player. But of course, as I've just mentioned, many of these changes will also come to creative as well, that you can then use when you're creating your masterpieces or your casual gameplay modes in Fortnite. So I do think creative is still going to offer quite a lot there's still quite a lot left to be offered in creative, and quite a lot that Fortnite will do in terms of creative, because we know it's coming. Everybody's sort of waiting for things like that, but there's also, I know they need to get it right, because if they don't get that right, people are going to miss out, and Fortnite's going to miss out. And there are things that maybe they don't want to add that would make sense, because it would be like, in the gaming community, if you're watching this and you know how the gaming community is, mods are a big thing. Like, you can literally create an entire YouTube channel based on just mods of games, right? And people do them. There's two sides to modding. There's the modding that the game developers do not want you to do, but sometimes appreciate, and that's sometimes when you're messing with the source code of the game. That's not what I advise at all. And then there is the other side of modding, where the game developers have leaned into this and allow you to mod the game, right? With a literal menu within the game, and you can do things. Now, Fortnite Creative sort of leans in to use the game resources that we provide you to create your own experiences, as opposed to messing with code or hacking or doing anything like that, which can also damage the game. So of course that's how people then get around and create and do things that they shouldn't be doing in competitive modes like Battle Royale. They use different things that they can do to mess with the game. Now, the creative is a good thing if it's enabling players to use certain resources, because that is what Fortnite is really leaning into right now. For example, with the new augments, you can see that one of the ideas behind the augments is to try and entice players not to use cheats and hacks, because you've got those abilities in the game, so there's no need for the cheats and hacks. And that is what I think creative will be as well, and where it's leaning towards. It's like, don't mess with the source code of the game, don't hack the game. Instead, we're going to provide you with the ability to create your own experiences in Fortnite, because Fortnite is that big and has that capability, and it's definitely, with the Unreal Engine, more than capable of giving you a absolute glossary that you can get involved with. As you know, different games are developed using this engine, and there is different terms, of course, that come with this, and that is how those skins then become a part of the game. You have those skins in the game from other games. There is even a Master Chief skin in Fortnite, just to give you an idea. There are Marvel skins in Fortnite, and a lot more. There is so much and more to come, because you can tell, well, I can tell from the pattern and the direction things are going through. So the next skin on this Battle Pass page, going back to the Battle Pass, is Thunder. Now, Thunder is a sort of velociraptor looking humanoid, like a human velociraptor with a nice little leather jacket, bomber jacket that he's got on there. I like the bomber jacket, actually. It's a cool looking jacket. He's popping his collar every now and then as well, and it's a really nice skin when you take a closer look at him. Actually, I like the detail on him, and I like, Fortnite skins have a personality to them, and they're always sort of conveying that personality to you, even if they're standing in the lobby. I've always enjoyed that. There are some other games that do attempt to do it as well, and of course it just really adds something to the game, isn't it? It's like when you're selecting your player in a game, and your player is in your skin or your character is doing things in the game. Now, I would say Fortnite's definitely leaning towards characters as opposed to skins. It's a character. Like when you're selecting, it's a character. A skin is something that's put over the top of the same model. Now it is, don't get me wrong, it is that, and that's why it's still a skin. But I'm saying when you're looking at the personality and how much is actually put into the skin, it then becomes a character. It has its own personality. It has its own story. Especially if it's that's how skins are in Fortnite, and definitely where they shine with that as well. Because some of these concepts are original concepts, like Thunder. I haven't seen in any other IP property. It's literally part of Fortnite now. I might be wrong there, because Fortnite's definitely ventured into some animes that I haven't watched, so it could be from an anime. I don't think it is, because I'm a big anime head as well. So I'm going to go a little bit further now, because we're going to get onto that part as well. We have another emote called Chef Special. Now, of course, these emotes can be used with any of your skins. Now, Chef Special, there is two sort of chef knives, and he is playing with those and sort of just swirling them around in a dancing manner. We have some more V-Bucks. Now, we have our weapon skin as well. Now, weapon skins can be applied to all of your weapons that you pick up in the game, or they can be applied to specific ones. The way you equip these is going into your locker and then selecting how a weapon skin is applied. You can apply it just to your AR weapons, or you could apply it to your handgun weapons, or you could apply it to all of your weapons. And you have this opportunity to really customize how you look when you're playing your game of Fortnite. That customization has played a really strong part in the game, especially since, I would say, Chapter 3. When Chapter 3 came around, there was definitely more focus on customization and things that you could do. Yes, there were some moments in Chapter 2 where you could create your own umbrella. Now, that was absolutely brilliant, but it sort of stopped there in terms of the gliders. You haven't really been able to customize your gliders too much, but there is definitely an emphasis on being able to be provided with different weapon skins and things like that that you can then use in the game, as I said, like I just did a moment ago. Just like you can with your lobby tracks, there is a new lobby track as well in the Battle Pass called Thunder Roll. And then there is this different dinosaur looking skin. It looks a little bit like Thunder. It's called, well, it is Thunder. It's Midnight Snack Thunder. Now there is a little bit of text that gives some backstory to this skin as well. Sometimes you can find some clues in the game, like recently Evie from a previous season. If you remember Evie from Chapter 3, I think it was I'm not sure if it's Chapter 3, but many of the Fortnite community know who Evie is now because she had some design changes, and it was a really big plot point at the time where everyone was like, yo, have you seen Evie's character model changed? it did change back positively, but as you can tell, these characters have their own storyline in the game. I recently found Evie's storyline. I haven't completed it yet, but I found Evie's storyline. I was talking to an arcade machine during a matchup, and then after talking to the arcade machine, Evie was speaking through it, and she was telling me that her home is Mega, and there's something in Mega that I need to find of hers. So I was like, so there are these little story threads that you can go through. Definitely playing into that in creative might be a little bit helpful as well. Maybe that could entice players to play more creative mode as well, if you have your designated adventure for a character in that game mode. But it does add an extra sort of layer to your battle royale when you're jumping into a game and then you find something about your character and you're playing through that as well. So it's definitely been put more focus in terms of those characters from the battle skins that have their own storylines. It's been focused more in battle royale mode, and that's where you can find out more about your characters, definitely adding an extra layer there, and then you can talk about it with the Fortnite community if you're involved with Fortnite. So yeah, that's one huge element that I think is brilliant for Fortnite, definitely pushing Fortnite forward in terms of the community and what we like to learn or try to learn about characters or changes to the map or why things are happening. So sometimes instead of a live event providing context, you can find the context yourself when you're playing the game, sort of giving you a reward for playing the game as well. If you could imagine if other games were to do this in this way, it would be more it sort of adds an extra layer and another reason to play the game. So of course, when you're playing with Midnight Snack Thunder, there's that as well. I mean, there have been times in previous seasons where you literally had a quest and you've had things that change with that quest due to the skin that you're using. One example is with the season with Chrome, and there was a Chrome skin that you had to use in turn to talk to a TV, and if you didn't do that, then you wouldn't get the voice line that you needed in order to complete that quest. So there was a specific quest there, and this has happened quite a lot in Fortnite, and that's the care and attention that has been paid to the game. So there is another reason sometimes to buy a battle pass, because you will have that in the game as well. Now, I haven't found too much of that at the moment in this season of Fortnite, but I haven't unlocked all of these skins, so there might be something. But our quests also are sometimes time sensitive, so sometimes you have time sensitive quests, and this might be to do with your skins as well. Sometimes that happens. For example, there are some quests that are available for a specific amount of weeks, or won't be available after a week, and you won't be able to then complete that because it will be done. So that's an example of how this can also come into play. Now, going through this, we have our next skin on another page of the battle pass. My opinion on the battle pass already at this point, because I've just gone up to level 35 here, I would say there is some variation here. I will also go into the bonuses. I think it isn't the absolute best battle pass that I've seen, but there is definitely a balance here, and there's definitely sort of like a selective choice. They've really thought about what they've put in this battle pass, and there might be a reason behind it. Of course, because when I'm making this, we're still quite early in the season, so this might be why really we don't have too much context on these skins or who they are to the main storyline of Fortnite as well. What happened to my voice there? So going through, you also have some more V-Bucks and so forth. There is one glider that looks similar to another glider that we've had, and that's one point I wanted to make. Now, there are some variation and some new styles that have been added in the Fortnite Battle Pass, but there are some that looked very similar to skins that we have seen before or items that we have seen before. One is Lost Meteor. Now, of course, a meteor, I mean, what more can you do to a meteor if you're designing it differently? This sort of gives the meteor sort of like a cartoony character to it. Like it has some glowing eyes and some horns poking out of it. It looks like it's actually alive as opposed to the meteor that we've had in the previous season. Another one that I feel is sort of similar to something else that we've already had, but another variation on it is the sort of, there's another style of Mystica, I think her name is. Now, Mystica has like a galaxy skin texture. Now, the galaxy skin texture and the colors that have been selected for this are reminiscent of a skin that we've had before. And I'm starting to notice this because sometimes what tends to happen is you will have different textures, but some of the colors and the variations of those bonus skins just sort of like fall into the same category. Now, this could be intentional, of course, because when you have your bonus skins, for example, which I'll try to have a look at in a moment, I'm not sure if they're actually available for preview, because sometimes they're only available at certain dates of the season. And as I said, we're in the early stages of the season right now. But at this point here, when I'm looking at Mystica and I'm looking at this green variation, I'm like, this really does look like the same color variation that we had from the season before. This might be a trend that Fortnite are continuing to do, and that does make sense, and I understand why you would choose to do this. But will it have a negative or positive impact? What do you guys think about the colors that are being used for the skins? Are you liking the when we get a similar theme throughout each battle pass, or do you want more variation to the skins in terms of their colors when you get the different variations? Now, Crimson Bloom Mystica looks cool. There's a loading screen that looks really, really cool. Like, I like the glowing effect it has. It is reminiscent of when we had the reality tree blooming, and it looks like it might be a seed from the reality tree. So that's a really, really good idea that I thought Fortnite would implement at some point. The reality tree fighting back, trying to defend itself. So maybe that is part of that storyline there. When we go a little bit further, we have a different variation of the Crimson Bloom Mystica, and it's literally crimson, so it's red. So it's the same version, but there's like a red, but it's not one variation of a red. And there is also some different light bouncing that's going on with that skin, as well as the galaxy head of that skin. There is so much going on with that skin, so many different textures. It's like if you used to have that character just made in a AAA game, usually you'd be like, dude, who is this guy? Like, you'd be like, who is this guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on there with that skin, from the eyes to the holographic mouthpiece, which actually does have different color variation to it when the character looks like it's trying to talk. There's a sort of flashing yellow. So yeah, man, there's a lot going on with that skin. When you actually take a closer look at it, it's actually quite great. One of the harvesting tools for this skin is the Ash Glow Blade. It reads, a blade's purpose is not to conquer but to protect. Right, so you have like a samurai mentality right there. So there's also a weapon skin, which is sort of like a galaxy weapon skin with the same sort of style as the previous what was it called again? The Crimson Mystica, with the same sort of style there, with that green and bluish galaxy look. Which is a different variation. Moving on from the battle pass here, we have another page, and this is where things get a sort of like a. I'm like, this is where I have like a slight issue, only because I think this skin here, Stray. You have the regular Stray. Now that looks quite new, has a lot going on with it, and I would say it might be a part of the knights that we have been seeing in the game. There's a different style to this character, style to Stray. But when you go on, you have Stray's emote, and then if you go a little bit further, you have the Foxfire Edge, which is a harvesting tool, 2 blades. But then you have this skin, which I'm pretty sure we've seen in the item shop, only because like it's like a the other one was like sort of like a Naruto Ambu style, and it has like a fox mask, and it's the same colors and it's the same theme. I actually thought the first time I looked at Renegade Stray, I was like, oh, isn't that just the skin from the item shop? And that's like it's like one of the main big skins of the battle pass. And when I look at Renegade Stray, I'm like, oh, Renegade, that's from the item shop, isn't it? And that's like a little thing I definitely wanted to point out about the battle pass page. When you reach level 62, you do get Renegade Stray. Now the Fortnite community might really enjoy this, but in terms of like people who are just new to the game and might have played for only a few seasons, you might look at this skin and be like, I'm pretty sure we've seen this skin before. Like that's the feeling I got when I saw this skin. I was like, I've seen this. I'm pretty sure I've seen this. I'm pretty sure this guy has been in the item shop, just not unmasked. Like, because when he puts his mask on, I'm like, yo, you look very familiar. Like, you look like I've seen you before in the item shop. So that was definitely a point that I wanted to point out about the battle pass in terms of this season. It was just that Renegade Stray just really I think isn't the best out of the battle pass. Now you might have a different opinion as a Fortnite fan, especially when it comes to your original skins, like because it's not sort of a take on a Marvel skin or DC skin. It's sort of like it's an original skin. Adrift but never lost is the phrase that is given with Renegade Stray. So yeah, that's one thing I definitely wanted to point out about the battle pass to you guys. Let's have a conversation about that. So you guys let me know how you feel about that, or what your thoughts are on that topic there, because that definitely really did have an effect on me when I was looking for the battle pass. I was like, that one right there, Renegade Stray, I was like, oh no. I was like, it does look like it's been in the item shop. Right, so on the next page, the skin on the next page, you can see I'm starting to focus more on skins here, is High Wire. Now, these skins, of course, you have a trailer out for them. When you have the new season, you have your gameplay trailers where the skins will be used, and sometimes you might have a cinematic to provide more context. As I said, we didn't have a live event. Now, live events take you can see there's a lot of animation effort in live events, and there is normally quite a lot of build-up. What the Fortnite community have tended to focus on a lot more is the map changes. The map changes, you see me open polls about Fortnite and what people are looking forward to, and one of the biggest things is always the map. Everybody wants to know what the map is going to be like, the changes that are going to be added to the map. Now, when Tilted was removed, people were heartbroken. People were like, please don't remove Tilted. We had a lot of history and time with Tilted Towers, but with Mega really does provide some personality to the game. Like the rails, absolutely brilliant. We're going to get into the gameplay in a moment. Let's just quickly go. Let's continue to go through the battle pass first. Let's cover the battle pass first, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So, of course, you have another lobby track called Vital, and you have some more loading screens. And I'm going to go a little bit further in the battle pass now, just to provide you some more context and things that we can talk about. There are contrails, there are different icons. It's a bat bling, a holographic bat bling, a sort of neon menagerie. And so, yeah, there's definitely variation there. When you go through it and take your time to go through it, you start to really understand the effort that has been put into it. There was just that one skin, that Renegade Stray, that I really do want to hear your guys' opinion on that. I mean, I felt like I saw it before. It was just one of those skins. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. I'm like, like everything else was sort of like really original, and what that stood out to me in terms of the battle pass when I was going through it. I was just sort of like, this next skin here sort of just have like a Mortal Kombat feel to it. I do feel it might be a part of an anime that I don't know or have not watched. It's called River Empress Mizuki. River Empress Mizuki. Now, River Empress Mizuki has a blade fan. So, of course, as you know, there is a Mortal Kombat character who has a blade fan, and she is a princess who does become a queen. So there's one for you. That might be a Princess Kitana Easter egg. So River Empress Mizuki is a Princess Kitana Easter egg maybe. Now the reason why I say this is because normally before a new franchise has been introduced into Fortnite, like there is sometimes an attempt to try to practice. There's normally a practice run that Fortnite do, and sometimes those practice runs, the developers literally just fill it all the way out and create the whole thing and then release it, because it's well worth releasing. There's been so much care and attention and detail paid to the creation. So I feel like this is one of those times. For example, there were some different themes that I think were Fortnite practicing before Naruto was released to the game, and the same with Dragon Ball as well. There might be a type of an emote or a type of animation or a type of equipment that has been used that might be sort of like, oh yo, that's coming to the game soon, let's get the practice in, see how the community also reacts to that change or that item. Now, having a Blade fan, of course, there are different characters that have Blade fans and have, you can literally watch Rush Hour 3 and there's a character with a Blade fan. So, of course, it's not something that is, not, it's something that's, it's not literally specific to Princess Kitana. But I do feel that because of what this skin is called, it could be a practice before Princess Kitana is brought to the game. Now, Mortal Kombat was theorized to be a part of the game earlier on and was going to be introduced earlier on at one point, and then it wasn't. And I created content about that at one point. So yes, so that could definitely be a slight clue as to Princess Kitana or some other Mortal Kombat characters maybe later on down the line coming to Fortnite, because when I look at River Empress Mizuki, I'm really like, that's Princess Kitana. She also has like a face mask as well, which does provide more, because obviously if you know any Mortal Kombat backstory or any of the story, Princess Kitana also related to Jade. So this goes to show you Jade wears a face mask. So it's definitely something. If I go through now and I see a variation on this skin and it has those colors or any of the colors of each of those characters, I mean, you're kind of leaning into Princess Kitana already with the colors that are given, sort of like a Sub-Zero themed Princess Kitana. If you look at River Empress Mizuki, that's kind of the theme that she's got there. And obviously she has her fan blades that she uses as harvest tools as well. Now, I'm actually more excited to use that skin when I've just noticed that and started talking about it, because it's like, oh yeah, that's what that's leaning towards. Like when you look a little bit closer, she looks more villainous than anything from her loading screen. So there is a loading screen that has been created by, and I apologize if I pronounced the name incorrectly, Chacho. So Chacho has created the art, again a part of the Fortnite community. She has created the art loading screen for that skin. So we're going to move past this page now because of just before we do, we also have a River Guardian Ancient Relic River Guard back bling that is also provided on that page there. So what the theme is throughout is definitely, when you have the skin at the end of that battle pass page, there is definitely a theme throughout that leans towards that skin. So the items on that page are completely leaning towards that skin there, River Empress Mizuki. Definitely one of the standouts of the battle pass here. But as you can tell, the battle pass is so full up and so filled, like you can actually break it down page by page, and it can actually take quite a while. And when I'm providing this context to you, you're actually getting the information straight away in a podcast form that's letting you know, oh, yo, this Fortnite has a lot to it. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot to have a look at. And we haven't even gone into the gameplay yet. So we're still going through the battle pass at this point. There is also a loading screen, and there's these wings, right, which are like, whoa. So there's like a little bit of a trail to these wings here. You have your contrail. Let's move up to this skin now because I wanted to have a look at this. Arrival of the Empress. So this is an emote of that skin, and it is literally in a fighting stance. So Mizuki goes into a fighting stance there. Is that just literally the way yeah, it's an emote. It's called Arrival of the Empress, and that is literally, it's just Princess Kitana, isn't it? Like you're literally going through it, and I think that is literally the top of the battle pass. So it's the top of the battle pass there. So if you go to the top of the battle pass, that is literally the last item on the battle pass there. So just to let you know. we've just gone through the battle pass. So we've gone through the battle pass. I'm going to go through the bonus rewards as well, so we can provide more context on the bonus rewards. Now, most of the bonus rewards will usually be a different variation on those skins that have been provided. Sometimes these bonuses aren't provided straight away, and sometimes they will unlock or give you a preview after a certain date. But what's happened here is they've actually been provided straight away until you get to page 4. Now, page 4, there are a few question marks, so we don't know what these skins or what these items will be in the bonus pages, but they do unlock in 9 days. So at the time of me creating this podcast here, it does unlock in 9 days. So these could be things that we could be having a look at, or closer look at, as to what has been provided here. So of course the prerequisites are normally stipulations, normally something that you need to complete in order to unlock that bonus, and those bonuses of course are to your battle pass. So just to give you an idea of how much you literally have to unpack when there is a battle pass for Fortnite, and this is Fortnite chapter 4 season 2's battle pass right here. Now, the quest rewards do sometimes make up for some things that I have already mentioned. So of course, with quest rewards, sometimes when you're completing quests, you will then get a different variation of that skin as well. So there's even more variations, there's even more items that are available, there's even more emotes. For example, there's this sweet shot emote where you're sort of like triggering people that you've just literally taken out if you decided to do that emote straight after taking somebody out. And there's this really sick emote variation on Thunder called Rumbling Thunder. Now, Rumbling Thunder looks dope, literally in like some flash yellow Logan Paul looking coat. Actually, I just realized that is literally a Logan Paul looking coat, that isn't it? Like, well, it looks dope. It looks like his WWE stuff. Then going through this, like, you have a lot more. There's Stealthy Stray, which is a lot better for Stray. I feel like that's more of like Stray stands out as opposed to looking like another skin there. He has a red mask and his colours are more muted whites and silvers there, just to give him a different stance, different style. So you always have some other bonuses there. There's also a completely new, like, there's more emotes and everything. There's actually so much to unpack in terms of Fortnite chapter 4 season 2. There's so much to go through. It's not just the one, the one battle pass here. You've actually got your quest rewards and you've got your bonuses as well. So there's really a lot to unpack right there. You have a different version of Highwire. You have Bubblegum Highwire. I like that as well. Brighter colours with a slight dash of pink on the gradient of the lower half, and then some bright blue with the rainbow stream going down the sleeves, pink aviator glasses on with a design wink on them. And yeah, that really does, with the bunny ears as well. That is a nice looking skin. Reminds me of Mullet Jonesy. I know it's not called Mullet Jonesy, but there is a Mullet Jonesy, like a 80s style Jonesy, and it sort of does remind me of that a little bit, and I like that. So yes. Then there is Eren Yeager. Now I think Eren Yeager is literally from, what's the anime? It's Attack on Titan, isn't it? Now I haven't watched Attack on Titan. Obviously everyone's seen, like, you've seen Attack on Titan if you're into anime, because if you're going to watch your anime on Crunchyroll, or watch what platform you decide to watch it on, or maybe you read anime books, manga, or there are books that are animated as in an anime style that you read. And the reason why I said that made that difference is because I needed to, because I didn't want the anime community to rip me up there. So yeah, Eren Yeager is a part of the which part of that is that? It's just separate. Now sometimes there is a stipulation to this, and you will have to do specific things in order to unlock that character. And it was just the same as the Witcher skin from last season in terms of how you unlock those skins. But of course the quest will be different, but you can review Eren Yeager in the game right now, and there are so many Attack on Titan fans that I feel haven't seen this yet, and I don't know why, like, but a lot of the anime community has sort of just missed this fact that Eren Yeager's there, and Attack on Titan fans are just not seeing it. So I'm like, yeah, man, Eren Yeager is actually in Fortnite right now for this season. So he unlocks in 25 days. So you still have time right now at the time of, if you're watching this podcast in time, you still have time to try and get Eren Yeager. So I would say jump in and have a look. Even if you're not going to purchase, have a look first, and then you might actually find that you want to purchase the Battle Pass. You also have your Fortnite crew. Now, I'm a part of Fortnite crew, and what happens with the Fortnite crew is it's a subscription where you will automatically get the Fortnite Battle Pass if it's active at the time of the new season, and then you will also get some V-Bucks as well each month. So it's great, and you also sometimes unlock some exclusive skins with it. Like, for example, if I click in now, the most recent skin for me was the Rift Knight Kieran. Right, so Rift Knight Kieran was the most recent for me, and that was for last month. And of course, you have this Crew Legacy pickaxe, which is very specific to the Fortnite crew, and you unlock different styles for it and different looks for it if your a subscription is active at the time of those changes being released. So the longer you have your Fortnite crew membership available and active, you will unlock different variations to that pickaxe right there. Right, so we've gone through quite a lot of the Battle Pass right now. Now it's time to go through the gameplay, map changes, and different loot pool that is available in Fortnite. So let's quickly sum this up. So at this current moment in time, the map is looking completely different to how it previously did if you were playing well back in different chapters. Now, when you were playing in different chapters, you had, of course, different POI in terms of like Tilted Towers, Frenzy Farm, who remembers Frenzy Farm, or Loot Lake. All these sort of places have been of a different chapter, and when we have had our live events or different seasons, there have been huge changes to the map. Absolute huge changes. I mean, the last recent one was just putting us in a completely different reality. So as you can imagine, it's just completely, well, it might be the same reality. It's just there was so much that was going on. I don't know if we were traveling through time or what, but there was a lot. Because I'm going back a little bit now when I'm trying to think about it. But there was a lot of changes in the recent season. If you remember, it was just about when this big map change, which completely changed the map, that was when the Mr. Beast and the Hulk skin was released, because those were the teased skins at that time, and there was a lot of changes to the Fortnite map at that time, at that point in time as well. Different graphical updates and more. Now in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2, we are now given the Mega City. Now Mega City looks dope. If you're playing on a next-gen console, it looks dope. Now, I have a win, and I'm going to show you more of Mega City though. There are these rails that you can grind on, and there is these new POIs in that Mega City, and the new introduction of these bikes as well. This really gives it a futuristic feel and a taste, and adds a new dimension to the game, and it keeps people from focusing too hard on you. Because I gotta tell you, there's so much to actually mess around with and do in the season that you're not going to focus on one player. Like, you're not going to focus. What I mean by focus is when someone's literally just gunning just for you. You can't. You wouldn't want to, like, you can't, unless you literally, like, you know, like, for example, if somebody starts the game and they're jumping and they're literally looking at just you, they probably won't survive, because there's just too much going on, and there's a lot of people that are, a lot of players, a lot of loopers that are going to be around in Cyber City, and there's a lot going on there. And when I'm balling around this city in my Black Panther skin, I'm like, ooh, it just looks really good, and it looks stunning. And there's, you know, when you're playing around with these new POIs, there's so many different details that are hidden in little crevices and all sorts that have been added. The new kinetic blade as well. I enjoy that new kinetic blade for actually traversing. So sometimes when trying to get out of the storm, sometimes you can traverse, you can move with it, because there's this dash that sort of pushes you forward. And I really do appreciate that, because when you can't get to a bike or a car or anything when you're playing Fortnite, it can be quite jarring for your movement. So having that sort of extra mobility there really does help. Now we have had some items unvaulted, like the shield bubble. Now the shield bubble, of course, is something it's welcome to the game. I don't tend to use it too often, because I've been starting to play more aggressive in the game, so I've been starting to attack players more. So I kind of dropped the shield bubble for either something to quickly heal myself, or just something to just go all guns blazing. So yeah, definitely some new textures in the game and some new elements and POI in the game. The loot port itself, now I do really enjoy the new AR. There's a new AR that has been added to the game. The rate of fire is so much better. I enjoy a rate of fire that is decent. Sometimes when you have like a burst weapon, sometimes you might, or semi weapon, like the red dot. Now the red dot can be great if you're going for that long distance, but I feel like the fire rate of it, it just harms me. It's just like you have to be more clinical with a red dot in Fortnite. So there's a red dot assault rifle in Fortnite. When you use it, if you're not clinical with it, the player might have a chance to get back at you while you're making your shots. But if you're actually clinical with it, you can really take out a player quite quickly. I think the fire rate has increased slightly from when previous seasons, so there is a definite improvement there in terms of it, because it was really sort of like a shot, pause, shot. Like it was just like that was quite harmful as well, because of course when you're playing in build mode, it does give the player it used to give the player, in my opinion, too much of an open opportunity to really think about what's happening. It was just like there was so much thought that player could do at that point. It was just like, oh, I just got shot, let me pause a bit. It was just like, and the pace of Fortnite players in terms of building as well, as you probably already heard, can be quite quick depending on which game mode you're playing in. So I do appreciate those changes to the red dot. I mean, some developers might even turn around and be like, yeah, there has been no change to it. It's just you've improved at the game. But I don't know. For me, it feels like the red dot has improved, and definitely that new assault rifle is really great for the game. I really do like it. I like the sound of it as well. So it's really good. Although it's suppressed, it still has a decent sound to it. I can hear it and I know I'm firing it. Now there have been some sound differences that have kind of thrown me off at some point. Sometimes when I'm pulling out a weapon and it clocks, sometimes I hear it in like my right ear and I'm like, why? Then I literally turn to the right, I'm like, oh, is there somebody there? So maybe that's a slight issue that needs to be focused on. But the game really is moving in a positive direction. There are some positives right here, definitely 100%. Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. These are the different changes that have been added to the game. Now the Battle Pass we've just gone through, we could talk about this some more, but I want to hear what you guys are saying as well. This is something that I wanted to talk about, but there is more for me to delve into, because I haven't been playing Fortnite as frequently as I previously was, because I needed to really do something on the channel, because I was having some issues on the channel. But of course, when we now have this podcast as well that is helping with that issue that I was faced with. So hopefully if you smash that thumbs up, it can really definitely help me here. It really is important. But I was having a slight issue which did stop me from playing Fortnite temporarily. I wasn't, not because I couldn't play the game, but because I needed to bring the bread up. And for some reason, like it was hard at the start of the year. Like there was a little bit of a pain, but I've decided to, implement my new podcast for you guys to enjoy. Your viewership has also changed in terms of Fortnite as well. So with these changes, I need to adapt and make sure I'm adapting as well. So sometimes if you guys don't want to see solo game, you want to see some variation, I will go to that. If whatever you guys want to see, then that's what I'm going to provide, because I'm not going to, one, I want to keep providing for you guys, and two, if viewership changes in Fortnite, then I'm going to change the way that I play the game in terms of that, because I want to provide for you. So when I'm providing this content for you, I always keep you first. You are the priority. So of course, if things are changing on the platform that I am currently uploading to, then I will adapt and change for you guys. So don't worry about that. I will be here to try to provide what I can for you guys. This new podcast as well, let me know. Like I'm literally giving you what I can, doing what I can to try and reach you guys to your ears and provide something so we can have that dialogue. What do you think of the new season of Fortnite so far? I've done this a little bit early, so as you can tell, there's some more content for me to actually absorb, and there's more for me to actually play through, which is the reason why I'm not going to delve in too deep with the gameplay just yet, because there's more that I have to actually soak up first. But I definitely wanted to it was only fair that I put out a Fortnite podcast, because a Fortnite podcast episode, if I'm talking about other games as well, because Fortnite has been a big part of my channel, and it's been a big part of what I do, and it's been a big part of my journey. So it only only makes sense for me to make a podcast episode about Fortnite, and I couldn't leave this out. I could not do it. I'm telling you now, because even when I've just been like casually in the game and I haven't been playing Battle Royale as much, I'm still going to make sure that I'm providing some content for you, because you know that's what you guys want, and I'm 100% in the game, so I might as well. And then it's like, I'm not going to leave it out. I'm not leaving Fortnite out. Fortnite has been a huge part of my life and what I've been doing and what I've been building, and I think it's going to stay that way, providing the game is enabled to providing I'm allowed to play the game, providing I'm allowed to keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, whatever reason I wouldn't be allowed to would be really weird. I don't know how you can find a reason, but I don't know what reason. I'm not even going to try and jinx anything, but you know, I've been doing this for quite a while, and you know, even if it's a podcast episode and not gameplay, I'm still going to be here. But of course, I'll be jumping back into some gameplay with you guys. Sometimes I've just told one of my fans about when sometimes if I'm playing like a really competitive mode and you're spamming like join the party, then all I can hear is join the party. So even if it was muted, it would be better, but all I can hear whoop 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 whoop, and I'm like, I'm being shot at. But all I can hear is a notification. So maybe Epic Games could do something about that, in terms of like, because I don't want to have to unfriend people when they do that, especially as a content creator. Sometimes people are like are really on it, especially if you go live. If you're live streaming. Now, I haven't been able to live stream for a little minute now because I did have some internet issues that I did need to fix. That again is one of the issues I had to deal with and had to adapt with and had to improve. So I have done that, and I have made sure that I've gone back to make sure that I could do that for you guys. Now, with that said, guys, I think this is where I'm going to pull this episode, but there is more that we can talk about in terms of Fortnite. Do let me know if you would like to have a conversation about Fortnite as well. Get into the comment section as well of this podcast, and if you've enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. This is my first attempt at a Fortnite podcast episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Thank you for listening. See you in the next one. Well, listen to you in the next one. You know what I mean.